Hey there guys, we're going to be talking about Resistance Fall of Man. We finally finished it, so we're going to finally review it. This is a game that's in a series of quite a few Resistances, but we're going to be talking about just Fall of Man, this one. There is about 3 Resistance Fall of Mans, or just Resistances, I should say, on the PlayStation 3 console. They do have some more on the PSP and the PlayStation Vita, but we'll only be doing the ones on the PlayStation 3 console. Resistance Fall of Man, this is number 1. We have Resistance 2 and Resistance 3. I do not see subtitles in those games, so I think that's all it is, Resistance 2 or Resistance 3. This was published by Insomniac Games. No, it's published by Sony, but made by Insomniac Games. And we'll go into depth on some of that stuff in a second. Well, this game is kind of set in a post-apocalyptic world, or however you say that word, where everything's kind of run down, you know, everything's dead, rubbish, rubble. There is an alien or mutant, whatever you want to call it, race called the Chimera who is trying to take over. That's weird, right? And what they do is they came and they primarily started out by infecting other humans to turn into these different Chimerans and other shit. And that's kind of gross, right? It's kind of like they're raping people, because that's exactly what they did. They stuck their finger in your butt and you turn into a Chimera. Then we get to the hero. The motherfucking Nathan Hale, you know who I'm talking about. The guy who does everything. There is like a million bad guys, and they have a freaking army, and they're like, okay, we gotta go kill all these guys. We can't do it. Nathan, go do it by yourself. That's exactly what happens. Nathan Hale's a badass, so that's exactly who you are. You are Mr. Nathan Hale, badass. But the story I didn't pay too much attention to like I should have, because I was screaming half the time. Leave me alone! Oh shit, I'm stuck. Because the game does get kind of scary. Very good storyline. I'm probably gonna go back, replay it, and you know, pay a lot more attention to exactly what's going on to that lady after every time you beat a level, when she starts talking about the infection spreading and shit like that.
But it was hard to fathom how they might actually be altering the climate itself. The power conduits, the snow, and the tower had to be related in some way.
I'm gonna pay a little bit more attention to that, so if you're playing the game, pay attention to her. She becomes your wife. Spoiler, joking, she doesn't. But yeah, that's the story. Well, part of the story, blah blah blah, but some of the cool things we want to get down to nitty gritty. The game had some cool guns. The game had awesome guns. My favorite, the M5A2 carbine. I have to say, hands down, that is one of my most favorite guns in this game. It was the most normal gun. It's the gun you start out with, so I mean, you get used to it at the beginning. It's the most normal gun. Just shoots like a normal assault rifle, so that's a really cool thing about it, because something I'm used to. As well as it had motherfucking grenades attached to it, 44mm grenades. When you hit L1, boom! Blowing up grenades! You kill them all. So that's something really cool they had into it. That's the most normal gun, assault rifle. My favorite of the game, my favorite in the game, and the first one you start out with. So if you even play the demo of this game or something like that, you're gonna know what gun it is. The next gun, a unique gun. At least for the games I've played, I'm pretty sure someone's going, oh no, they had a gun like that in this blah 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 game that was made in 1444. No, well, Bullseye. Pretty cool gun. I didn't use it to its full potential. My second favorite gun. Very easy to find, because it's the gun the Chimerans primarily use, so it's the gun you're going to find the most ammo for, because you're killing these motherfuckers and they're using this gun. It's called the Bullseye. The Bullseye is not as accurate as the M5A2, but it shoots out these plasma ball shits at people. And who cannot like plasma bullshits? It shoots those at you instead of just normal bullets. It's very, very common in the game, like I said before, so you're gonna get ammo out your ass for this gun. It's gonna be your primary gun. Whenever you start shooting with the gun, you hear click, 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 click. It's the gun you're gonna switch to, because that's the gun you're always gonna have your ammo for. The special ability for this guy is the tag. This is why I thought it made it a little bit more unique than some guns in most games, because you can shoot a bullet which will tag an enemy, and then you could literally go around a corner out of vision and shoot, and these motherfucking bullets will follow that tag that you shot. and then just like kill that guy. Or you can shoot that tag into a rock or a wall, and then shoot the bullets, and then your bullets will hover up that tag that you shot and just wait for an enemy to get close and then just fly at him. Now that is really cool. I haven't seen that in any other game I have played, and I say awesome gun. But again, I didn't use it to its full potential, so I'm definitely going to be playing this game through again so I can get a better look at it. And then, the gun of the century, the Rossmore 236, which is basically the shotgun. This shotgun is a powerful shotgun, but its range sucks. That's what I like about it. Its range sucks. They made a game where shotgun, you can't shoot across a mile of the map just because it's a motherfucking shotgun. Shotguns are short range, and short range for a reason, because they hit you freaking hard. This gun is definitely what I use most for this. When you have massive, little, small, easy to kill enemies running at you, that shotgun shine like someone's balls who just got licked. That thing was an amazing gun. If you shoot an enemy in the head with that gun, it's most of the time an instant kill, no matter what enemy it was, as long as it wasn't a boss. But yeah, it's an ideal gun. I have to say, an ideal gun for shooting crawlers and stuff that are going to crawl on the wall and stuff from you. If you miss with your shotgun, because it does have kind of a click back, you know, when you have to pump action, you can hit L1 for its special, where it fires both barrels at the exact same time. Just as a little setback for while you're reloading, and that is awesome. It knocks them back too, the big guys. It knocks them back. But that is one you definitely will probably be using quite a bit for, but you won't be using it as a primary gun. And this next gun I'm going to talk about, my God, has been a love-hate relationship. The Auger. It's good when you use it. It sucks when you're fighting against it. This gun can shoot through solid objects. So you can literally shoot through walls and kill people. That is annoying when it's happening to you. I will say why later, but we'll just go over the details of the gun. So you shoot through walls. It shoots out this kind of a laser line kind of thingy, which penetrates walls. When you shoot it into the wall, it kind of sits in the wall and crawls through it slowly and then jolts out when it hits to the end of the wall. So it's not like instant going through walls. So you can tell where it's coming from. And that's kind of cool, so it's not just, you know, straight shoot through walls. But its special ability, when you hit L1, it's pretty much a force field. Deflects bullets of any ordinary gun. Grenades can sometimes get through the shield, and other augers can get through the shield. But that's the cool thing about it, is you can shoot up a wall, and then you can shoot from behind that wall you put up and shoot your auger bullets through it and kill the enemies right out in plain sight. But again, the wall does not last forever, so you know you gotta time it, and you have a limited amount of walls you can put. A gun that I used a lot was the L23 Far Eye. That is the sniper rifle. It was an awesome sniper rifle. It made you feel like you're in the Matrix, or you're like Max Payne or some shit like that. You can slow motion. It's a normal sniper rifle. You can make it go in slow motion and then just pop people in the face. That is an awesome gun. Makes you happy. A gun that I didn't really, well, I'll just cover two guns in one little session, since I didn't really use them like a lot like I could. But the ammo for these were a little bit more scarce too, which would be the XR005 Hailstorm and the XR003 Sapper. The Hailstorm was pretty cool, where it shot out like a lot of little, like crystals or some shit at people, and the crystals bounced off walls until they hit targets and stuff like that. Also, its special ability was it shot out this little turret, which just floated in midair and just shot more of that stuff at enemies. It was a pretty cool feature, but ammo for that gun was pretty much probably the most scarce in the game. And then the other one was the XR003 Sapper. I did not use that gun to its full potential. I did not know how to use it. It shoots this goopy gop, I call it bubbles because it looked like little bubbles, out on the ground, and then pretty much pop, and then like shoots this acid out, and whatever runs over them, or whenever you trigger them to explode. And they're very similar to an enemy in the game called the Widowmakers. They shot out that stuff out of their mouth, but I will go over that when I talk about enemies. The gun that you get towards the end of the game, the L209 Lark, L-A-A-R-K, was pretty much the rocket launcher. You shot rockets. I didn't use it that much unless they called for it. It's basically just a normal rocket launcher. It had a special ability. I never used it because I never knew about it. I didn't even take the time to read it. But if you hold down the button, the R1, it'll split off into multiple smaller rockets and then hit a bunch of nearby enemies. I think that's awesome. I'm going to go play through again. And I'm going to try that out just to see how it is. They have a couple of other guns that are only available when you play through like a second time or you do unlocks for it. So I didn't get to play those since I've only played through it once. But I do have a list here where I can tell you what it is. They have the Reapers. They have the Arc Charger. Those are only available on the second playthrough. Then they have the L11-2 Dragon, which does not say it's available in the second playthrough. You might have to unlock it. And then you have the Splitter. Now, other than those weapons and stuff, we have grenades. The frag grenade, which is just a normal grenade. The animation for those guys, the grenades was big as shit, man. Those grenades were huge. We had the hedgehog grenades, which are actually really cool. It's a Chimeran standard grenade, which was pretty much full of flechette. If you don't know what it is, go play Battlefield and fight someone with a fucking shotgun with a flechette, and it's like bunches of nails or some shit. And then when you throw it, they pop out and explode, and the nails shoot everywhere direction. They have the air fuel grenades, which pretty much ignite the air on fire when you throw them. So you throw them, blow them, fire comes out. Then the backlash grenade, which is only available in the second playthrough. I won't go over that one because I have not done a second playthrough. Alright, now we're going to go over enemies. This is something that also made this game more unique than the other ones, is their diverse use of different kinds of enemies, different kinds of Chimera. The Chimera, what the enemies are, just as a recap right there, but they had different types for different situations, which made the game a little bit more interesting. I'm not going to go over all the enemies since they each have weird names, and I kind of gave them their own name throughout the game since they really don't tell you what the name of the creatures were unless you read the walkthroughs and shit, which I don't do. Let's just go over with the creepy crawlies. They have those little things that are like spiders that crawl over the wall. I call them spiders because they crawl on walls and they have a bunch of legs and shit like that, which you take out easily with the shotgun. They're virtually not harmless. Not harmless. They're virtually harmless unless you let them get near you. Then they jump on your face, and then that's like the thing that's on your screen. The cool thing they incorporated is when they're on your face, they're moving your screen back and forth like you're trying to throw them off. It's intense. A lot of the stuff was like when you're talking about it or you're watching it on YouTube or some shit like that, does not seem scary. But when you are playing by yourself, and then that thing jumps on your face out of nowhere, you're gonna shit your pants. I guarantee you that. Another one is the enemies I like to call the zombie enemies. They walk really slow, easy to avoid. Very easy to avoid. They walk really slow, but I have to tell you, these guys are motherfucking ninjas. They are ninjas! Situation right here. You walk into a room that has pillars and stuff, just like a normal rundown building. Nothing is there. You turn to look to your right, then you turn back forward, and you have literally 15 of these motherfuckers walking at you out of nowhere, and you don't know where they came from. They are ninjas. As well as once you do that, you kill everything. You turn around, there's one behind you, and you don't know how it got there. I can't explain how it got there. They're freaking ninjas, and when they get close, they jump on your face and start biting you on your screen and everything too, and they're just scary as hell. I hated those enemies with a passion, even though they're easy to kill if you can see them. But when they sneak up on you, it's scary. I'm telling you, they'll get you. They'll get you in your pants. One enemy I really wanted to cover because it was one of my peeves was definitely going to be the chimeras, those big ones that have the augers. One thing about this game is when the enemy sees you and they shoot at you, these guys shoot with like freaking Olympic aim. These guys do not miss. They hit you directly every single time. Unless you're moving back and forth, you are getting hit like headshot, headshot, headshot every time. And the augers shoot through walls. And these guys can see you after they see you straight through these walls. They know exactly your location. They didn't really configure the AI to, when you go through the walls, not know what position you're at. They shot dead on right at you. But have you? This is one of the older games developed in 2006 in November, I believe. So it was an early PlayStation 3 game. But yeah, I give it to that. That was annoying, but it was all right. We got through it. We got through it, and that's really all that matters. Then they had some other enemies. I'll just quick cap it, like ones that are in eggs. And then when you get close to the eggs, they jump out, and then it's just the normal spiders and stuff. And then they have the normal ones shooting the guns. The bosses, a little bit different. Big, small, and stuff like that. Bosses. They had some pretty cool bosses. Big guys. Some weird-looking ones, like the angels, or like these giant flying stingrays and shit like that with tentacles. But one of my biggest disappointments was the very last level wasn't really a boss fight. It was just like a mass enemy fight where a bunch of enemies came at you. So that was kind of... It was different. I get it. Made it more cinematic, more like a movie than a video game. That was pretty cool. But I'd rather, fight a gigantic enemy with this giant epic fight rather than this epic, fight off 400 enemies things. The boss fights were pretty cool, I have to say, the different things you had to do to kill them. But they were pretty just, normal fights incorporated into a giant enemy who has more health and more strength. A couple of them had boss fights where you actually had to shoot the boss in like a certain area, but not many of them, so the boss fights weren't really that diverse. But that's not a bad thing at all, because this game was awesome and at points hard as shit, and I'm glad they did that because I would have had to start over. Which brings me to the maps. The maps, some were big maps, and some were just small. The maps I'm also going to refer to as maps and levels of the same thing. They were broken off into sections. Each level, you played a section, it phased out, it told the story, you went on to the next section. The only issue I had with that is the sections had either one checkpoint or no checkpoints. Even on the big map, some of them have no checkpoints. So you would literally start the map, make it to the very end of the map, and die on that last character, which was literally one step before the screen phased out to go to the next part, and then it will send you all the way back, no remorse, to the very beginning of the level, and then you're just like, oh my fucking god, because you gotta play the whole thing over again, and then you just keep dying and dying, and you get more frustrated and frustrated. That was something they could probably have changed. Add more in checkpoints, but too bad I didn't review this game when they first made it, so that I could have helped incorporate that into their newer games. I'm gonna play the second and the third game after this, but they have incorporated that in their newer games, better checkpoints, and so I can't complain there. So just a quick cap on some things that I like. Definitely the many different enemies they stuck in there is just great, man. That made the game so fun. Scary is good. Even though you're scared and you want to shit your pants, I mean, just that rush and the excitement, that is awesome. Other than that, the guns are amazing in this game. Each gun has something so different. Every time you switched your gun, you didn't just feel like you're holding a gun. You're holding a whole new defense mechanism for you. It did so many different things. Each one was so unique. It just felt different every time you held a different gun, which was very good, rather than, like Call of Duty. I mean, you get like 300 different guns, but they all do the same thing. They just shoot bullets. You shoot a guy with it, they die. These ones, they do different things. They make shields, force fields, they target enemies, they tag enemies, they do all this other stuff, slow-mo. It's just so much different stuff. It just made it that much more fun, just having all that stuff incorporated with the different types of enemies, which die in different ways, which makes it a little more unique of when you can incorporate that with a different type of gun, which has a different ability to fight these different enemies. Dislikes. Things I disliked was the levels. The spawn points were kind of sucked, but I can't complain because they have fixed that. Since in the other Resistance games, that was really my only biggest dislike, other than the chimeras with the augers with their 100 pinpoint accuracy on you. Shooting you through walls when you can't see them, and somehow they know exactly where you are. That's really my only other pet peeve from this game. But now comes the moment of truth. This game gets an A from me. I love this game. Great game. You haven't played it and you own a PlayStation 3, you're going to have to go buy it. That is an amazing game. And another reason I say you have to go buy it is because when you buy it, it comes with Resistance 2 in the box. It's around $40, which I bought about 6+ months ago. So it's probably even less now, and you get Resistance 1 and you get Resistance 2 in the box. Great deal, I have to say. Great deal. Game is definitely worth it. I give it an A+, 2 thumbs up. Thumb up your butt. But yeah, that is Resistance in a nutshell, at least from me. This is Super Tadpole, and I love this game. I'm gonna stick it in my Hall of Fame. I'm gonna make a wall. I'm gonna make a wall for Hall of Fame games, and this is gonna be #1 in my review list. #1, Resistance. Oh man!